Oh, okay, cool.
He thinks I got secrets.
And it's him that has the secrets, right?
Nope. He's more important than I am.
She's financial
Did you? All right. Michelle, I haven't had a chance to read that yet, I guess, because, well, actually, I have to be later in the day, because I have to be here at 11. I might have a few minutes.
Yeah, ended early.
Do it while somebody else is
Right,
talking.
this is
You
important.
don't have to talk all the time.
1 minute to showtime.
Me too.
Don't go away, I got you up front.
You're getting exhausted.
I am. I had to start recording. Hurry up and go fill the coffee beans because all the dark roast is gone.
This one is,
The light roast is still full.
it's in Summerlin.
Oh, shit,
I didn't know you could be there.
Last weekend we did one.
How funny is that?
How about it? Was
I
that
put me drink on.
All right.
Good traffic.
It's that time. Better sign in quick.
That line.
It is August 7th.
Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7, Lisa says. Can we all join in on your guys' conversation? All right. It's August already. Can you believe that? Well, summer's almost over. Yeah. Oh, it hasn't been too bad of a summer this year. All right, time for my morning jog. My second morning jog.
There's the dawn.
All right. Time for our on-time drawing. Let's see, what do we got? All sorts of good stuff. I'll be good today. We have folders.
Beautiful.
We have a mouse pad. We have something from Rock Tile, I don't know what it is. A note pad.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Journal
No.
with a pen. Thank you, Rock Tile, but they're not even here. Anthony's always late. What else we have? 1 Lux, notepads, and pens, and some other stuff. All right, what number you guys want?
Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. Who's number 7?
I don't know.
Dawn.
Oh.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Well, 7, I'm gonna call Red.
Yeah, I would just say it's a seven.
All right,
That's a
number 11.
Yay!
Michelle. Congratulations.
So much, appreciate it. Love you all.
Love you more. Congratulations.
No. Sharing is caring.
Okay.
All right,
That's a great move.
make sure you take pictures throughout. And hey, Michael, let's see if you can make it. Yeah, take pictures throughout, and at the end, check in on Facebook. Make sure you tag me, tag those around you, and check in on the Realty One Southwest, not the private group, but the other group. All right, who's enjoying breakfast this morning? Some good, I almost said that word again. Some good stuff. I'm trying to, when we have guests here, I have to watch my mouth sometimes. Lisa!
Yay, Lisa.
Yay, Lisa.
Yay, Lisa!
Good morning. Real quick here, we're gonna play a fun little game here in a minute, but I wanna remind you guys real quick about our free listing coverage. It's hot out there. We know the homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer. We know that when that buyer goes to do the home inspection, there is no air conditioning unit that is running properly when they're doing the inspection. The home inspector is going to note that home inspection report and say the differentials are off, have it checked by a qualified HVAC person. Most buyers are going to want to have the seller have that checked. You can use that listing coverage to have that HVAC checked. Most of the time it's going to be a capacitor, it's going to be a fan motor, it's going to be a leak in the refrigerant line. We offer up to $1,000 in coverage during that listing and escrow period. So you guys will look like the hero whenever you can go back to your seller with that request for repairs and say, hey, remember that home warranty we put in place during that listing and escrow period? I talked to the home warranty rep and it looks like items 2 and 7 would have coverage. So you've already kind of set the tone, it's gonna make them at ease a little bit more. And if you can save them $400 or $500 up to $1,000 during that repair process, you're gonna look like a hero. So just keep that in mind. It's really easy to enroll your listings. All you have to do is shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I've given you guys a flyer. That's my cell phone, that's my email. If you guys are out in the evenings, during the day, on the weekends, and you're writing offers and you're not sure how much to write into your offer for home warranty, shoot me a text with the address and say, hey, what should I be writing on this? Typically, I always like to say $825 without a pool, and that's because with that $825 policy, we're gonna cover up to $1,500 on a water heater replacement. We know water heaters are probably the most common thing that go out on a property, even more so than AC units. So I've got handymen that are doing water heater replacements, 40 and 50 gallon, between $1,200 and $1,400. That includes the earthquake straps, the permit, the pan, the removal and disposal. So we don't discount those items. So keep that in mind. That's kind of like the magic number, but we also do duplexes. We go all the way up to 8 units. So if you're doing multifamily, keep that in mind as well. So we're gonna play a fun little game, okay? Mark, you have to be my eyes.
All right. Okay.
So we're gonna play a game. So I'm gonna give you guys some questions, and first person to raise their hand, Mark's gonna be on the lookout for you guys. Okay, you ready? All right, the first question: what does a CHOSA mean?
So this whole right
Power to choose home warranty company?
I mean, we gave you the answer right there, guys. I gave it to you right there in front of you. Yes, I gave you the answer. Yes, that's correct. So today I'm giving away Wendy's. There's 5 small lemonades or Frosties, so you can keep that in your car. So when you're driving around and you're hot, you need something that refreshing, you've got that.
There we go.
I thought you meant what each letter stands for.
Just the word, a CHOSA. Okay. What is a key feature that makes a CHOSA's business model different from the traditional home warranty company?
You can choose your own repair person.
Very good. So you guys do pay attention. I'm so happy.
Now we're gonna get the hard ones.
For a new home buyer, when does the CHOSA home warranty coverage begin? If you've already won, you can't. Nope, they can't win.
Okay.
When they close on the house?
Correct, at the close of escrow. Some people think that they don't have coverage for 30 days, but that's not true. It goes into effect the day of the close of escrow.
But is it true that you have to wait 30 days to make a claim?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, and we see it all the time. I mean, think about it. I always say the new homeowner's not going to live in that house the same way the previous owner did. So if the other owner didn't really use the air and the new buyer comes in, turns the air on, really cold the next day, it could fail. I mean, something could short out, because they're not using it the same way. Same with the dishwasher, same with the washing machine. So things happen. We know that once that seller moves out, things happen. So yep, so as long as it was working during the home inspection, we're going to cover it from the day of the close of escrow. How much is our listing coverage?
just said it, 825.
No,
807.
yes,
It's free unless the seller decides to use it.
correct, it's free listing coverage, guys, it doesn't,
Oh, no, this, yeah.
yeah, free listing coverage, we don't charge for the listing coverage during that listing and escrow period. Yes, you do, thank you. So you know. How much does our HVAC coverage cost during that listing and escrow period?
Paul,
Free?
Correct, we don't charge extra.
was that a question or an answer?
Yes.
Yes, that was a good guess. Yeah, guys, we don't charge extra for the HVAC during that listing and escrow company, or listing and escrow period. We also include the refrigerator, the washer, the dryer, roof leaks, water softener, septic and well pump, all during that listing and escrow period at no additional cost. So keep that in mind, we don't have that many options or upgrades. Let's do. Can a homeowner purchase a warranty even after the close of escrow? If they've owned the house 6 months, they've owned it for a year.
Did you already win?
No, she has not.
Then Darshan.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can order at any time. There is a 30-day wait period for those homeowners if they've never had a home warranty on their home. If they have a current policy and it's getting ready to expire, we can renew it with us. I just need a copy of that expiration, and then there's no waiting period for them at that time. There you go. Yeah, I got 2 more. All right, let me think of something good here. Can you reach me after hours and on the weekends for home warranty questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody.
Guys,
Everybody's a winner.
yeah, everybody wins on that one.
You get a card?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, now I gotta think of a tough one. Do you have anything? Throw something out there.
What do you recommend we put
Oh, yeah.
for a buyer's coverage?
Okay, we'll go with Dawn. What do I recommend that you write in the offer for home warranty for the buyer when you're writing an offer?
She just said it. Someone who hasn't won, raise your hand. No, you won.
Cecilia, raise your hand.
825.
Yes! Yes, listen most of the time, so anyhow, but no.
That was a good question.
So just trying to make home warranty fun, guys. It doesn't have to be a nightmare. You don't have to, you don't have to like curl up. I mean, I don't curl up and hide under a desk during summer, you know what I mean, with the claims process that we have. It's really super simple. It's so nice that the homeowner can call the 1-800 number. They get a live person in less than 20 seconds when they call in. Once that technician goes out to the property, they call in with a diagnosis and estimate to repair. 99% of the time, unless there's a replacement that we're trying to source, we can authorize repair. They can make that repair right there while they're at the property. So if they've got the part on the truck, they can go out, get the part, come in, make the repair. There's no rescheduling, there's no ordering parts from the corporate company. We can get the homeowner back up and running really quick. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, we have our rev-ups coming up, 8, 9, 10. I'm not gonna dwell on it, but I will dwell on this one a little bit. It's still hot out there. It's 108, 109 out there. And there's a lot of homeless out there. So we have one case up there right now. Hey, shh. We're trying to do a meeting in here.
Proceed.
Somebody close that door. It's hot out there, so let's get some water. If you don't want to go down to Walmart or Sam's Club or Costco to pick up the water yourself, give me some money and I'll go do it. So it's really hot out there and they're suffering. And the guy that heads up this hydrating the homeless, he's one of our agents. And he really does a lot for the homeless out there, so bring some water.
Who is it?
His
Charles
name is Charles
Grosh.
Grosh. So he's not here a lot, but he's here on occasion. We should have him come in.
You should.
food truck way out there every Thursday. Today it's Dabradas, and it's from 11 to 1:30. I have no idea what they serve. But it's Hawaiian stuff.
It'll be fried, I'm sure.
It'll be okay fried. All right, so we have the bowling, LVR bowling coming up later this month, August 22nd, from 9 to 12 at Sunset Station in Henderson. So I think we will be putting together a team. We haven't figured out how we're gonna put people on the team yet, have we? We'll figure it out later. We'll talk
No,
about
you
it
guys
later.
are supposed to meet and talk about it.
Yeah. All right, but you guys can put together a team. Joan's not here. Anthony.
All right.
Morning, everyone. How you guys
So,
doing?
wait a minute. Better no facial hair or facial hair?
No
And then, I
facial.
guess that could be with me too, huh?
I think facial looks pretty.
I feel like you guys swap.
I like it.
Take turns carrying it around. Yeah.
Yeah, but good morning, everyone. Great to see you guys all. I just want to keep it short and brief today, just because we do have a class after this. If you guys want to learn more about the escrow process to keep your clients informed, we'll be doing a life of an escrow class, as well as if you guys ever get preliminary title reports. If you guys have any questions, hey, is there any red flags that might impede this closing? We get an offer on it. We'll be going through the ins and outs of that with Jamie Newmeyer, one of our escrow officers, here after the sales meeting. In addition to that, I do want to just thank you guys a lot. Once again, you guys were #1 in terms of capture rate with Rock Title, so I definitely see a lot of familiar faces that did contribute to that. So don't think that we don't appreciate you. We definitely do. If there's anything we can do, whether that's in the marketing realm or in the escrow side of things, please let us know. We'll be happy to help out. And we'll love to see you guys at the class right after the sales meeting. Thank you guys.
Class, right after sales meeting, be here. Like, don't move.
You gotta be squared on.
All right, let's talk about some stats. So active listings, we've gone up over the 10,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, remember, it wasn't that long ago, or like 2000, or, yeah, so we're up over 10,000. Of those, 7,176 are single families. What does this mean to your buyers? Let's talk about buyers first. What does it mean?
It means it's shifted into a buyer's market.
It's a shopping spree for them. They have a lot of choices.
Shifted into a buyer's market, it really has.
Yeah.
They have more options as far as, homes to choose from. Whereas when we have 2,000, there wasn't a whole lot to choose from.
They have
So,
leverage over sellers.
what's that?
They have leverage over sellers.
They have leverage over sellers, yeah. Sellers are more likely to pay for closing costs and the
repairs.
commissions and repairs, yeah. So a lot more there. What does it mean for sellers?
Got a lot of buyers out there.
Be prepared to negotiate.
Be prepared to negotiate, yeah,
Just
absolutely.
stay in the market for months and then pull off.
Your home could stay on the market for a lot longer than before, because sellers are still in that mindset that homes are selling in 30 days. So we, as agents, when we go on our listing appointments, we need to set their expectation levels. We need to let them know that the market we're currently in, that it could take 2, 3, 4, sometimes even longer to sell their house. It means that they need to get more realistic on pricing, right? Because there's a lot more homes on the market, a lot more competition out there.
And it's not only Vegas, around the whole
Oh, yeah.
United States,
Yeah.
actually.
Yep. So we provide that to you. It's in our social media, it's in our newsletter. So use it. All right, with that being said, we have Virginia coming to talk to us all about, I met Virginia at a NAREP event, I don't know, last year maybe. And we talked for a little bit. Would you be able to come in and talk to my agents? And so here she is, so welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Morning.
Beautiful faces up here as Jack puts the presentation together. So As Mark mentioned, when we started initially talking about the value add, to tell you a little bit about ourselves, about myself and what we do as a company to be able to better understand why we're doing what we're doing, and also having access to future financial literacy workshops. Our organization has been around for a very long time, and one of the things we recognize in the financial industry is that there are a lot of companies that are selling products and services, and oftentimes people go from one company to another depending on who the salesperson is, right? The better you are, the more they swap. But the biggest thing that most people lack is financial education, the literacy to be able to understand how money can work for them. And I think being in the financial industry, one of the things that I saw being in real estate, so 25 years ago, I was sitting in a chair just like yours, and I was going through similar sales meetings in my real estate office, and I started in the loans aspect of it, but back in the decades that I was doing the business, we didn't really need a real estate license to do loans. So I was able to work under the umbrella license, but I really got out of the business in 2008 when I started understanding that you can be in the financial industry to provide financial literacy and guidance, but sometimes the guidance has pitfalls itself, and the industry kind of puts a vision of, the fear of lack, right? And we start to leverage in the wrong way, and we start to lose our assets sooner than we gain them. So I think 2008 taught a big lesson to me and a lot of people, and people saw that, if I'm not careful about what I'm leveraging and how I'm handling my finances, hard come, very easy go. How many of you guys have ever experienced that in life? So I decided to look into financial literacy to be able to provide myself, first and foremost, more of a holistic approach to how money works, so that way I can also help my clients understand that when they're making decisions in one area of their financial life, ultimately it's impacting other areas as well. So I stumbled upon this incredible organization called World System Builder, World Financial Group, and part of what we do in our organization is provide free financial literacy classes. And you can come in and learn everything from budgeting to bettering your credit, to getting rid of your debt, to being able to protect your income, to leverage assets in the right way, taxes, investments, stocks, bonds, all the changes that are happening in tax law and structure and what that means. And I found one of the biggest areas that I was able to improve, it was the relationship with my own client. So the more I knew, the more equipped I was, the more I was able to help my client. So I decided to be able to shift myself, and I let go of my real estate ties, and I came in full on board with education. But because I understand the real estate world very, very well, I did it for a long time, I stayed connected because I feel like, most people, the biggest financial decision they make is with you, right? Buying a house is one of the biggest financial decisions that they make. So they have that trust with you. We're helping them build these assets, build generational wealth, right? But a lot of times we help them build it, but we don't really teach them, nor do we really know the specifics of how do I help my client.
Don't worry, he'll be back at 5 o'clock.
I'm not worried.
How
do you?
5:30 already. It's 5:30.
How do you help them at least
Busy, I
protect?
lost track of time. Hang on.
How do you help them protect what they create, right? So we thought of, okay, which workshop do we start with? What would you want to learn about? So I thought, one of the best things that we can start with to kind of showcase what education and what information can do and how far it'll take your relationship is talk about estate planning. Estate planning is one of the cornerstones of how people look at real estate and how they look at generational wealth. Real estate is a great way to increase your portfolio, to build your portfolio, to be able to create generational wealth. But if we don't do it the right way, we end up in probate, we end up with capital gain taxes. Anyways, we end up leaving our friends and family more of a nightmare than an asset, right? How many of you guys have gone through the experience of probate? Anybody? There's always one person in the room. Okay, wow, today there are more people in the room. Okay, how long does probate usually take? Forever. Way too long, right?
Depending on who you hire to.
Yes, but then you also have to deal with the public court system. So no matter how good your guy is or gal is, you kind of are stuck a little bit because you're kind of shoved around based on their availability and their calendar, right? So would it be fair to say probate costs on average about 1.5 years to 2 years, maybe even more, depending on how complicated it is and how many people are fighting about it, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
And what happens in that process of that 1 to 2 years when everything is still tied up into the court system? Who has to pay for the mortgage?
Family or
The
whoever
family,
has
right?
an interest in it, yeah.
Exactly. Who has to pay for all of the responsibilities, and they may not even end up with that property, is that right? So there's a lot at stake, more at stake than we can think of. So when you're thinking about planning ahead, we're not planning ahead, we're not talking about dying, we're talking about making sure that our assets are actually gonna go to the right person should anything happen to us, both when we're alive, we haven't passed yet, but we may have health issues, and also when we leave this earth, right? So today, I'm gonna walk you through the process, and I'm gonna help you kind of, I'm sure most of you understand, but kind of bring up maybe certain conversations that you might think is a little daunting for people, but actually if you start talking about it, they're not as reluctant. They're actually very happy to learn about it. So this also gives you a point of conversation that, you know, I don't know about you, but real estate sometimes is very transactional, right? How many of you guys have clients where all of a sudden their niece or their nephew or their sister or brother became a real estate agent, and they're like, well, we want to give them the business. Well, I mean, what do they know about the business to get the business, right? But how many of you guys have had that where you maybe have lost the client to like a family or a friend that also got licensed? Well, they may be licensed, but I promise you they're not going to know what you're going to learn through these workshops to be able to capture that market and to make sure that they're coming to you and nobody else. So I'm going to help you do that. How many of you guys are excited about that? Okay, all right. So, we're good to go?
Yeah, good.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk about it. So estate planning is really about protecting your wealth and your health. And you want to be able to do that when you're alive, right? But also when something happens and you're no longer here, you want to make sure that the people and the things that you want to be taken care of is going to be taken care of the way you would have wanted it. So if you think about estate planning, what's the point of planning for today? Most people look at trust and will and they say, oh, I have time. I'll do it later, right? I'll do it, I'm still young, I still got time. But how many of you guys have also seen people that, yes, you have time, but all of a sudden you might not have time? And actually COVID is, you know, a good lesson in life, unfortunately, because we saw a lot of people who were healthy, who had no issues, and went to the hospital and you never saw them again, or came back with so many issues and you're like, oh my God, how do we go about this now? So taking care of this doesn't mean you're getting closer to the end of your life. It just means that you want better opportunities for your life. So failure of planning is really you're putting yourself and your family in unnecessary risk. Consequences of not doing it, or maybe having a plan but have it outdated, is very, very important. Think about this. There's over 58 billion, that's what the B, $1 billion sitting with the state of unclaimed assets. These are checks, these are assets, these are bank accounts that have been left dormant, no activity, and guess what happens? Who collects on them? The state does. Yeah. The state does, right? So out of every 600 people are the beneficiaries of unclaimed life insurance policies. I'm also a financial advisor, so I know this very well. I'll have clients tell me, I want my kids to know what I have. Great. But how are they supposed to find out what you have if you don't leave some sort of a trail behind, right? I mean, you can't spread my business card all over your room. That's just, you can do that, but it's not recommended. So states are currently holding about $58 billion unclaimed property, and that number keeps going up. And like I said, of abandoned bank accounts, safe deposit boxes, stocks, uncashed dividends, or payroll checks, bonds, mutual funds, all these things. So if you want to know if you've got some money you don't know about, you can go to unclaimedproperties.org, put in your name, and they'll tell you if you've got any money that's owed to you.
Yeah, I've been on that site.
You've been on that site?
And I did have money in there.
You did have money in there?
I did. I had like a $300 check.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a nice bonus.
It is nice.
Right? $300. I checked in my brother, God bless him, he closed escrow, and being the responsible person he is, he forgot to check in with escrow to pick up his paperwork. So escrow, of course, had cushioned the closing, and he had about $3,000 or something like that left that he was supposed to get back. So he never went for it, and they never mailed the check. And guess where that check ended up? State. So we had to go prove that he is who he is for him to be able to get that money back. So there might be money that you might not know of. By the way, you can also check for your family. You can't cash in their checks, but you can find out if they have assets or not. So let's continue. Take a look at this. This is so important. And this is important for you because your line of work is directly impacting this ratio. 70% of people you come across, that's 7 out of 10 people, don't have a will. A will is a document that basically says, this is what I have, this is who it's gonna go to should I pass away. It says other things as well, but in a nutshell, make sense? 7 out of 10 people. Do you think that's a big deal? That's a huge deal, right? Staggering 78% of millennials is the age group. I think this is important because depending on who your client is and who you're working with, these are the parameters, right? 18 to 36 don't have a will. They think they're never gonna go away. Even more surprising, 64% of Generation Xers, that's my generation, 37 to 52 don't have a will. And nearly half of respondents, 53 to 71, about 40% don't have a will. Now a will is, again, just a document that says what you got and who it's gonna go to. But if you have a will, you're basically guaranteed to go through probate. Just because you have a will doesn't mean that you don't go through probate. Your will has to be read by the judge. It has to go through court. It has to be filed. Now there's a Privacy Act that just passed last year in January. And one of the things that it says, most people thought that Privacy Act means like my privacy is gonna be protected. Actually, it was quite the opposite. Now when somebody passes away, they have to file, your executor has to file your will with the court. What happens when that happens? Everybody knows, right? So everything that you try to keep private and personal now is everybody's business. Now, do you think people are gonna be curious and they're gonna go up and they're gonna try to file some things or get to know some things? Absolutely. I've got nightmare stories, but I'm sure you have your own as well, right? So think about this. This is a very important thing. So how can you avoid this? I'm gonna tell you. The consequences, first of all, it's better to have a will than not to have a will, because when you don't have a will, you've got a judge who doesn't know you, who doesn't know the dynamics of your family, making these decisions, who ends up with your kids, who ends up with your house, all of these things, right? But if you have one, yes, it does become public knowledge, unfortunately, but at least you've given the direction of what you want to happen, who you want your kids to be taken care of with, right? So this is an important part. If decisions are not made by you, they definitely will be made for you, and I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know if you are. So let's talk about what's important for you to consider when you're considering putting together these things, or getting your financial life in order with your estate plan. First and foremost, the information. Most of us, when it comes to what we want to pass on, clients look at me like a deer with headlights. What do you mean? What do I want to pass on? Everything. Life isn't just about the material things that we have, but what are some of the things about your family, about your culture, about your customs, about things that you want to be passed on, right? So it's important that you have these documents. What are some of the assets or the properties? Assets don't have to be assets that are valued at millions of dollars. They could be sentimental assets, things that have been passed down from generation to generation, right? Final wishes, heritage, tradition, life lessons, stories. There's this beautiful company that actually does an interview when you're getting into like your 70s and 80s and 90s. They do an interview to just capture the moments in your life and the lessons you've learned, and imagine leaving that to your grandkids. Isn't that beautiful? I thought that was beautiful.
What company is that?
They're out in Temecula. I have her contact in my phone. I'll pass it on to you if you want. But I thought that was one of the most beautiful things.
That is beautiful.
Right? To be able to pass it on to grandkids, because there's such a culture difference today, right? Of how generations have been brought up and the lessons in life. I think that's a pretty neat thing. But information, what do you want to be passed on? The other thing is time. This is important, right? Yes, you don't want your kids to know what you got. You don't want them to know where it is. But eventually you do, right? You don't want it to go to the government. Like, who do you work so hard for anyway? So it's important that you put into perspective how you're going to share the information if you're not there, when you're going to share the information, and if you are leaving assets behind. I don't know about you, but I don't want my 18-year-old to inherit $1 million in life insurance. They're gonna have a good time and not know what they did with the rest, right? So it's important that we can divvy it up in different times so that way they can receive it and use it responsibly. And if they don't use it responsibly, they do have a party, at least they've got some more money coming in. So you can divide up the assets, and it can be held in a trust, so that way it goes to them in stages. Because at different stages in our lives, how many of you guys would agree with me, we find different things important. Is that true? What you find important today, you didn't even think about 5 years ago. What's going to be important for you 5 years from now is probably not on your mind today. So very important. And the last thing is people. I don't know about you, but for me, not all families created equally. Some of my friends are a little bit more dear than some of my family, right? So right people, this is important. Not only your family and loved ones, your beneficiaries, but but who do you trust to be able to take care of what you're leaving behind? So I'm gonna break down what the roles are so that you can have a better idea of what it is and why you should have a backup, because we all get into arguments and we all, change our minds about people, right? You've got the right to do it. You also have the right to make changes as your life changes as well. So, what's at risk? Here are some things that you should consider for your clients and maybe even consider for yourself. I come across people all the time, husband, wives, spouses, partners, and one has a job, the other one has a business. How many of you guys have clients like that? Okay. Do you think that the spouse that has the job, or the other way around, the spouse that has the business knows exactly what bank accounts the other one has? What 401k they're using? Have they listed a beneficiary? Most people don't. Most people will get upset with their bank, they'll change it, but they don't go around and say, hey honey, I've changed my bank, here it is, and da-da-da-da. It just doesn't work that way. We're so busy in life, we don't catch up that way, right? When was the last time you had dinner and all of a sudden you opened up all your finances? In fact, money is the cause of most arguments, so most people don't even get involved in it, but sooner or later it all pops up. So think about your savings account, right? Your bank accounts, your retirements, your pensions, online assets, cryptocurrency, digital assets. Today, that's a little bit more, talked about than ever before. It didn't exist before. Life insurance policies. Can I tell you how many times I've caught the policy go to the beneficiary that is an ex now, like an ex-husband or an ex-wife, right? I can't tell you, like I've reviewed old trust policies and they have their healthcare directives, the ex-husband or the ex-wife. You guys better be best friends after the ex, right? For them to be the healthcare directive. They're gonna pull the plug faster than anybody else. Just kidding. Social media accounts, Visa on homes, all the things that you kind of capture that you know that you're taking care of, or you even forgot. It's probably on auto pay somewhere, right? That you don't even think about, but it's on there. It's absolutely on there. So, does your family know how to find these things? I always say, when you have debt, right? When you owe money to an institution or a bank or something, it's very easy for them to find out. All they have to do is just run a credit report and they'll find out who you owe money to. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
But when they owe you money, if you've got money in a bank account, if you've got money in a 401k, there is no institutional system that you run a social security number and find out where they have their assets. It just doesn't exist. Don't you think that there's a reason for that? Yes, absolutely. It's called the state. All right, so how easy would it be? Would you have the documents for them to be able to release this information or this money to you? Chances are not. And this is where, again, you go back to hiring an attorney, costing money. It's one of the most expensive, one of the yuckiest processes that you'll go through in life, right? So let's talk about timing. Timing isn't just about putting your documents together because you're sick or you're getting older or something's happening or you saw a car crash and that scared you. This could be for fun too. It's super, super important that if you are especially dealing with a client that is a flipper or they have multiple assets or multiple properties that they're buying, and if they're traveling a lot of times like I am, it becomes difficult to be able to have access to all documents all the time. So you can have these documents and if you're not in town and a power of attorney needs to be exercised so that escrow can close the sale or they can close the deal so that you don't lose out on it, it's important to be able to have that. In fact, the last house I bought in 2016, I didn't really think we were going to get. The property was being sold for $1.5 something million. My budget was $1 million. Somehow this crazy wife convinced the husband that let's just put in an offer for $1.4 million. Did you hear? My budget was 1.1, and I sent in the offer because I fell in love, not with the property, because it had green carpet in the bathroom and a pink toilet and blue sink. Wasn't the charm of the house, but the area. It was right under the mountains. You couldn't see your neighbors. It was lush. It was green. It was just beautiful. I saw that. I was like, man, I can tear this down and I can make everything that I want. My husband looked at me like, you're delusional. Did you forget our budget? Anyway, long story short, we sent in the offer for 1.45. We're in Budapest. My real estate agent is calling me frantically. Where are you? Where are you? Where? Oh, I already landed. Were you concerned about me landing? She's like, no, we need money in escrow. They accepted the offer. I was like, oh my God. Jack's in the back saying, tell them we don't want it. Tell them we don't want it. It was just something that we were testing out. We got the house. And we got the house because although I wasn't there, we exercised the power of attorney to make sure that our power of attorney went, took care of everything, so that way no delays would take place. So I say that because sometimes people think, okay, I'm not going anywhere, I've got some time, so I don't wanna think about these documents yet. But it's not because of, end of, world gloom, doom and gloom kind of reasons you wanna think about this, right? You wanna think about it because, hey, why not? You wanna protect your assets, you wanna protect the opportunities that come up. Okay, so what are the solutions? What do you do with the documents? How many of you guys know exactly how to use each document and what it's for?
I know how to use some documents.
Okay, sounds good. So 2, 3 out of the entire group is good for me. Okay, so we talked about the will a minute ago, right? So in your will, you include your assets. You also, if you have minor children, you include guardianship. Guardianship is if, God forbid, the natural parents pass away, who gets to take care of the kids? Because if you don't notate that, you don't make that decision, they're gonna go to foster care. Not pretty. Kids are already gonna be scarred. God forbid, foster care is part of the scarring as well, right? So you also get to dictate who gets what, in what capacity, and how you are gonna designate these beneficiaries. You can also mention how long is it gonna stay in the trust, what age are they gonna get. So my son just turned 23, my daughter's gonna turn 22 next Wednesday, and they have their money tied up until they're 35, and I'm excited about that. Because it's my money, not their money, right? And if something happens to me, then they're going to get it in, little parts. They would have gotten some when they were 20, and I'm still here, so they get none. They'll get some when they're 25. I don't plan on going anywhere, but the rest they'll get at 35. Why? Because again, I love my kids. I trust them. They're amazing kids, adults now, but not knowing what to do, and all of a sudden having opportunities come up from left and right, you can leave them high and dry, right? So in your will, you get to dictate that. Now, I told you a minute ago that if you have a will, it kind of guarantees that you go through probate because it has to go through the court system, right? What actually excludes the process from going to probate, where you're excluded from probate, is actually if you have a trust. And a trust is just a document that basically, like an umbrella, covers your assets, covers everything that you got, and makes things very, very private. When you have a trust, your will may still go to court to get registered, but now your assets are listed in the trust and not in the will. So when they take your will to the court, all your will is gonna say is, yep, I got a bunch of stuff, it's in my trust. That's it. And you don't have to say anything else. Yes, ma'am?
Does the trust need to be recorded?
Very good question. I'm gonna get to that. Absolutely, yeah. So the trust is basically a document that says, okay, I, Virginia, trust my sister Jerry. Something happens to me. I want her to manage my affairs. So a trustee is literally the manager of your life, right? They manage your affairs. What you eat, where you sleep, who takes care of this, that, the other, what's important to you, how would you like to live the same way you live, regardless of the health issue that you're going through. You may be incapacitated, you may be in a coma, you may be in the hospital, lots of things may happen. So in the trust, you haven't passed away yet, the person's still alive, but they're not in the capacity to make decisions for themselves. So as a trustee, your job is to make the decisions for them in their best interest. So you usually have one trustee, but you can have multiple trustees. You can have multiple trustees because if one person's not in the country or they've got stuff happening in their own life and they're not in the right state of mind, maybe they shouldn't manage your assets, right? Maybe that somebody else should do it. So you can have the second person if the first isn't available, the third person if the second is not available, or you can have them work together so that way they're working on taking care of you together, okay? So that's basically the trust. When you're listing your assets in a trust, it is very important that you also change the name of your assets into a trust. So one of the things I've seen, unfortunately, is people will go online and they'll subscribe to this and that, and they'll do their documents online, estate planning for $199, whatever. That's fine, you can do that as well. But we forget that yes, once you put your assets, you're making all these decisions on a legal document. You also got to further it and make sure that the assets you have, like the home, that's the biggest asset you can identify, you need to change the title of the property so that the title of the property is listed under the name of your trust. You do all these documents, but you don't do that, you've done nothing. It's still going to go to probate. Make sense? You're still going to have a hard time. So it does have to be recorded. It's not the documents that get recorded, it's the title of your assets that get recorded in the name of the trust. Does that make sense?
Except for stocks and stuff like that, right?
Right, certain things you don't need to put in the name of the trust because you can name a beneficiary.
Correct.
You can do a paid upon death. You can name a beneficiary and it'll pass through. So depending on how big these assets are, and how you transact, it may be important that you put the beneficiary as a trust. So anything that you put in the name of the trust that passes to the beneficiary, not only does the beneficiary avoid going to court and avoid the probate fees, but they also avoid capital gain taxes. Something magic happens with the trust. You bought the property for $300,000-$400,000. By the time you pass on, your beneficiaries inherit the property through the trust. Now the property's worth $1 million. They don't want to keep the house. They want to sell it. They want to move to Texas. They want to move somewhere else. When they sell it for the $1 million, they pay 0 capital gain taxes because of the step up base that you get by putting your assets in the trust. Make sense? So if you've got assets, yes.
How many times can it step up? Just once?
No, you can put it into the, so let's say you put it into your trust and then your beneficiary receives it. What they need to do is they need to capture the value in the market at that time. So the best thing to do is get a snapshot, get it appraised, set it aside. Now let's say that beneficiary now has a trust of their own. They could put it in their trust and they can roll it over and over and over, and every generation will get bigger and bigger without having to pay taxes. They only pay taxes on the growth from the time of the lock of the appraisal and the appreciation. So let's say they inherited at $1 million, that's the step-up base, but a few years later they end up selling it for 1.1 million. The difference between the 1 million and the 1.1, which is the $100,000, that's what they're gonna pay capital gain taxes on. Make sense?
But
If they don't wanna sell
appraised.
it, they should get it appraised because you wanna be able to, and this is your appraisal, so let your appraisal know, hey, boost the value. Like the higher the merrier, right? You're not paying taxes on it. You're just capturing it because if you ever want to resell it later on, you want to make sure that up to that you walk away tax free. Make sense?
Yeah.
You guys finding value so far?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, all right. So financial power of attorney. Oftentimes people mix these two up and they say, well, if I have a financial power of attorney, then why do I need a trust? Well, financial power of attorney is for the purpose of your finances. Paying your bills. Did you know that even if you're in a coma, you need to do your taxes? That's a thing. You need to do your taxes. So, if somebody needs to communicate with the IRS on your behalf, they can't just call and say, hey, I'm the spouse. It doesn't work that way. Banks don't care. If you're not on there, you have no access. So you need a financial power of attorney to make sure that anything that has to do with real estate, buying, selling, of course, don't forget, in the best interest of the trust, of the owner of the trust, right? Buying, selling, financing, refinancing, accessing equity to be able to do other investments, whatever the case may be, here's the financial power of attorney. They're the only ones that could do it, but they can't do it on their own. The trustee has to say it's in the best interest of the owner. Make sense? So the trustee says yes, the financial power of attorney fulfills it. Does that make sense? Right? So the financial power of attorney cannot just automatically go and say, we're gonna liquidate all the properties, the person's in coma. Doesn't work that way. The trustee has to say, we need to liquidate the properties because the person's in coma. Makes sense? To be able to afford whatever. So these are some of the documents. You continue with a couple of more. Healthcare directive. This is super, super important. Again, some hospitals are a little bit more picky than others, and if you don't have, and some of them, believe it or not, will ask you, where's the marriage certificate? Are you the spouse? Like, come on, really? We're in the time of being in the hospital, then there's a disaster and you're asking me to prove I'm the spouse? So having your healthcare directive is super important. But one of the main reasons why having your healthcare directive is super important is to be able to leave your family with a peace of mind. And what that means is everybody culturally, everybody religious-wise, everybody just understanding-wise has a different way of looking at end-of-life decisions, has a different way of looking at organ donation, right? Donating, not donating, saving a life, not caring, whatever the case may be. It's important that you get to voice your own wishes on paper. And yes, your family can still go out there and try to save you, do everything that they can. But if there's nothing that could be done and you keep deteriorating, do you want to live on a machine until you're completely deteriorated or run out of money? And the answer is usually no. But you can leave that somewhere where they could know about it, right? Hey, I want you to do everything that you can to save me, but I don't want to live like a vegetable on a machine. These are things that you want to voice, because if your family doesn't know, guess what? There will be arguments. When my dad passed away at the age of 54 from a stroke, completely unexpected, I don't like anything medicine. I don't like anything medical related, and that's just not me. My sister, though, was a nurse. She was a research coordinator. So when my dad went to the hospital, you know, he had no oxygen go to his brain, so he was pretty much a vegetable, and he couldn't breathe on his own. I didn't understand that, because I'm an emotional being, and my sister's been around the environment long enough not to be as emotional as I am, right? So when they decided to unhook the machine, my perception of that was, my dad is not with us because my family decided that that's the way it should be, where he could have had a miracle and survived. Later, of course, many years later, I found out that there was no way that he could have survived, and he wasn't breathing. It was just the machine pumping oxygen in his lungs. That's why you see it go up and down. But those last few years with my sister, because she decided to pull the plug, we had a really bad relationship. We almost didn't talk to each other because of this. So sometimes when you want families to get closer together, when there's a tragedy, they grow further apart because of misunderstanding. So it's always better to have and not need, rather than not have and go through what we went through. So, you know, not to be too dire, but you also need your HIPAA authorization to make sure that whoever you're leaving in charge of your health decisions knows what you're allergic to, knows what medication you're on, both mental and physical, because those two things are important today, right? So these are the documents that you need to be able to do that. So when we work with our clients, one of the most important things that we provide, yes, the documents are great, putting everything in order is great, but how many of you guys have come across clients where they forgot some important things, like documents, where they put it? Anybody? Yes? Okay. They move, they lose it. There's a flood, it gets damaged. So what happens when documents can't be produced, and what happens when documents get lost or damaged? And the attorney is nowhere around. They retired or they passed away. What happens to these assets? How do you put the whole thing together? You can't rewrite a trust again. Let's say the person's not healthy anymore. They're not of sound mind anymore. It's going to create another disaster. Here we go again, going through probate. So one of the things that we provide is a secure cloud-based storage space. It's actually military grade, where everything that you're signing, we upload it to the system, and you have access at any given time. We also make sure that you have folders in your cloud storage space. What are these folders? These folders are for like your real estate documents, for your taxes, for your insurance, for your investments, for everything. Why? Because remember, you don't want your family to know what you have now, but you want it to be somewhere that if they have access to, they can log in. If anything happens to you, they'll get verified to make sure that they're the trustee, they're the financial power of attorney. They'll get access to the documents, and they'll get access to be able to understand, where did you pay? Where is the money? Where are the assets? What have you done to collect it? Make sense? I can't tell you how many times I've seen people, they'll get into a car accident and they'll go to the hospital, and the family doesn't know where the health insurance card is. They don't know who the car insurance carrier is. And although they're paying for insurance and all of that could be saved, all of that drama, all those fees could be taken care of, but they don't know how to do it. Either they pay cash out of pocket, or they end up with liens or judgments on their credit or their home. All of that stuff can be avoided. But again, do you know where your parents' insurance policy is? No, most people don't, right? So this is a great way to be able to organize yourself and have it one place, so that way no matter what happens, you've got access. You can go in, and anytime you change banks, change insurance companies, you can go in, upload, download, exclude, all that jazz. So what do you get? Part of what we do when we offer these programs, and when you have access to helping your clients understand about the importance of protecting their assets, you become even a bigger trusted advisor, right? You have a solid, loyal relationship, because they know now that if anything happens, they can come to you and you can give them guidance and direction. So when we work together, you get access to not only all of this information, but you're going to get access to so much more. You'll get a chance to learn in a little bit. Immediately generate new prospects. How many of you guys would love to get to know who is the next generation that's going to inherit this property?
Yeah,
right?
I want to get to know that.
You want to get to know them, absolutely. That can help you become build a better relationship with them, right? And now you have more prospects because imagine for the trustee, you need 2 people, executor, you need another 2 people, financial power of attorney, you need another 2 people, healthcare directive, you need another 2 people. So through the process of this, your client is gonna end up naming anywhere from 8 to 10 people that they're gonna leave in charge. Do these people have a home? Would they one day like to buy a home? If they're gonna be in charge of this home, do you think it's important that they get to know you? So that way if they ever need to sell the home, they can do it through you. So it's a great opportunity to be able to create even a better relationship, right? So crossover generations for future business, make additional referral income, we'll talk about that, stay relevant in the family's life, and become their #1 professional go-to source. That's what I wanted to do. When I was in real estate, I wanted to make sure that anything Mark needed as my client, I would capture. Even if I wasn't doing what he was looking for, I wanted him to come to me so that I can relay it to some others as well. Why? Because I wanted to be able to be that go-to person. So to be able to have that holistic approach, I think it's a great opportunity. But so most people will ask, Virginia, how much is the process of going through this trust? Well, if you get a hold of the company, it's usually about, on average, it's about $1,500 to $2,500. And the reason you see $1,000 here is because if you go through our financial literacy campaign, we want to make sure that everything that we talk about is affordable and doable. One of the biggest reasons why people don't do their trust is because they can't afford it. They got to save up for it, right? And they got to put some money aside. But most people either don't do that or they procrastinate and they forget to do that, and then life happens. So just for a flat $1,000, if you just have one property, you can have a revocable living trust. Revocable means that you can change it at any given time. There are no additional fees, no additional costs if you want to change or update or upgrade or downgrade or anything that you want for your trust. We do it, it's in the original cost, you're not gonna pay an additional fee. The only other fee that you would pay is a recording fee. It's like $25, $35 at the county registrar's office to record the deed and the title of the property. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure that you get access. The cloud storage space comes with it, absolutely free. There are no fees that you pay, nothing that you do, and you're the only one that has access to it. So what are the legal tools? Just to kind of give you a summary, I'm a very visual person. This is what we talked about, right? If you guys want to take a snapshot of that. And I will also send you information if you want to leave me your card, or if it's okay to get a copy of the sign-in sheet. I can email you everything that we talked about here today, and I will email you the checklist if people want to put their trust together, like what should they bring together, right? What should they consider? You'll have a checklist, and you'll also have a list that basically says, okay, well, if I'm getting ready, what should I consider in naming the important people in my life? We have this information both in English, and we have it in Spanish, and in multiple languages. So if you have clients who may need it in multiple languages, we can definitely help them as well, okay? We also have an ambassador program for you guys. Those of you that are interested in the ambassador program, you can get a referral fee from being able to provide this solution for your clients. Don't worry, you're not gonna write up the documents, that's not your job. You keep your hat, let me keep my hat, right? You do what you do, let me do what I do. But every time somebody signs up for a trust, and they pay the $1,000, you get $250 referral. Not bad, it's kind of like finding that $300 every now and then, right?
Yeah.
So for you to be part of that ambassador program, there's a one-time fee, and it's one time, it's not monthly, it's not annual, it doesn't get renewed, of $125. So that way the company can track where the leads are coming from, so we can pay you appropriately. Again, that's just one time. So if you just do your own trust, you make that back and some, right? Okay, so did you take a picture of this? So these are the documents you need when you're alive. Those are the documents that you need when you pass away. But here's the thing. One last thing before I close I'm going to give you is this. I see people all the time. I've been doing this for 25 years. I started when I was 3. So I've had a little bit of practice. But more often than not, Mark, I've seen people name beneficiaries and they put their legal documents together, but their house isn't paid off. The liabilities in their life is still very high. So although they're leaving these assets and these responsibilities to people, I always ask, hey, the trustee that you're leaving this responsibility to, do they have the money to continue making the mortgage payment if they can? Right? Because if you're not working, where's the money coming from? your kids, are they gonna be able to afford the taxes and the things that are still ongoing, even if the property is paid off, right? Are they taken care of? And I'll tell you, most people don't end up with the assets that they're inheriting because these people, the trustees and the financial power of attorney people, had to liquidate to take care of the family at the time that they needed it. Make sense? So one of the things we do when you go through the checklist is we'll go through and we'll help you also see that yes, when you're alive and you're making money and you're saving money and you're putting money away, if you don't assign beneficiaries, if you don't have opportunities where you're not paying taxes, minus estate tax, minus penalties, your family's not gonna get what you thought that you're leaving to, right? Especially if it's a tax deferred. So yes, you have money here, but how long is it gonna take? Like if something, God forbid, happened to you and you were in a coma, think about the money in your bank account. Think about the money that you've got saved. How long will it take for your family to run out of funds? Most families, believe it or not, it's 1 to 3 months. Isn't that sad? 1 to 3 months. Most families don't have 12 months of emergency funds set aside to be able to take care of things. So then I hear people say, well, we have life insurance, Virginia. Great, but I mean, good news, bad news. Good news, you're not dead, right? You're in a coma. Bad news, you can't use your life insurance because you're not dead. Sorry, bad joke. Right? So it's like, it goes both ways. Like, yes, these are assets, but not enough. That's good. You've got life insurance, but life insurance only pays when you pass away. So we also introduce them to tools that they may have where if you can combine some of your savings and add it to your existing life insurance policy, I don't know if you know this, but you can add a provision called long-term care to your life insurance policy, and your long-term care will continue growing your cash value, but it's gonna do something even significantly more. It's gonna give you 2% of your insurance dollars to your trustee if you're in a coma, or if you're in a bad accident and you can't work and you need the money, you're of sound mind, but you can't work. Well, guess what? 2% of this example, $500,000, is $10,000 tax-free from your insurance policy to you to pay your bills. Do you think that's enough money for you to have to be able to figure things out on your own? Whether you want to sell it, or you want to keep it, or you want to reinvest and do something else, do you think this can help you stay in that home and really, truly build that generational wealth? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Thank you. So this is a snapshot if you want to take a picture of this too, but this I will send this to you as well. So don't worry if it's too far or too close, I'll send you this so that way you can see it. So life is all about choices. I hope you guys enjoyed today. This was a very specific workshop on estate planning. And we've got other specific workshops like tax-free retirement and what is long-term care and the changes in taxes and all those things. But you know, one of the things that I wanted to show you is there's a huge value add, and I hope you took something away from today. But even the basic workshops that we have about budgeting, about going through the process, and even if you're great at budgeting, when you come in and you learn, maybe you can teach your client to budget better so they can afford to buy a better house. So instead of paying rent, they build equity for themselves, right? Yes. Awesome. So what's life going to be like 5 years from now? Sometimes we come across great information and we're like, okay, I'll just deal with it later, and you don't do anything. Obviously, life doesn't change, right? Sometimes you come across something important and you take advantage of it and you learn not only for yourself, but you learn to implement. Education without implementation is nothing. I'm sure you can find better looking people, better information, more motivation than me to spend your morning with, right? But it's important for us to be able to also make sure that whatever we learn, we actually implement. And Jack, if you can bring me a book and workbook, please. So when you go through the workshops, our intention is to make sure that we give you so much value add that you can actually track where your financial journey goes. And maybe you're already great at what you're doing. It doesn't hurt to just give yourself a pat in the back and say, all right, I'm doing some things well, right? And if you maybe have some prospects that you are again working with to be able to purchase a property or do things like that, but affordability is an issue, you probably want to give them access to these workshops. So we want to be able to have in-person workshops here. You're going to get a workbook, right? It's only $5. I bet you Starbucks costs more than that. I bought Starbucks, I'm not saying it because it's okay. And you get an incredible book, and this book is everything about how money works. There's no company, there's no sale pitch, this is just education in and itself, and you're able to actually map out your own financial journey. We have these on Zoom as well, so if coming here or you missed a class and you weren't able to attend, we have it every day from 6 to 7. So if you're interested in taking the workshops, let me know. It's on Zoom. I can send you the link. Come check it out. You're gonna get a lot of value out of it as well, right? So, and then sometimes we see something and we wanna be part of something bigger, you know? The reason why I think Mark saw value, if I may speak on your behalf, is because of the length of time he's been in business, the length of time he's dealt with clients and services, and it seems like most people are so busy just working, maintaining their life today, they don't really give too much thought about tomorrow. But the tomorrow comes, and the tomorrow he was saying, can you guys imagine we're in August already, right? It's insane. Once May comes about, like the year is pretty much over, right? By the time summer is here, it's already gone. It's pretty much over. And year after year after year after year, now we're 2025. So life only gets faster. And with all technology changes, the environment changing, the economy changing, I think we gotta take a time out at least once in our life for ourselves, just to kind of see where we're at and where we're going. And if you're on the right track, incredible. If you're not on the right track, no matter where you are, there's always time to change. So one of the biggest value adds that he wanted to provide is that you guys are doing for so much for others. You're taking care of so many people. Who gets to take care of you? Right? Who gets to take care of you? So I hope, again, you saw value from these workshops. I hope you saw value in what we're doing here. So Jack, if you can, do me a favor since you're here, and nobody ran away, so it means I did a decent job at least, right? Because we have a series of workshops, we wanna know what would interest you most. Which workshop would interest you most? So we have a small survey for you to fill out. No intrusive information, we don't need your date of birth or none of that stuff, right? We already know who you are because you come here anyway, but for me, because I don't know each and every one of you, if you can fill out the front portion, and if you fill it out clearly so I can send you the information that you got here today as well. And when you open up the card, there are some yes or no questions. Again, very, very easy. This is going to help us understand what our market, what our community is going through, and what you guys, again, would want to hear more about. So once you fill it out, I know you guys are writing things down. Do me a favor, just look up really quickly. In the back of the card, it's like there's space for you to set up an appointment. You don't have to do that unless you have questions and you'd like to meet with me. The next couple of days I'm gonna be in town. I do travel from California to here, so I go back Sunday. So if you need me, have any questions, you wanna do a coffee meetup, would love to get to know you. You can definitely write down what's convenient to you, and I'll try to work around your schedule. But that's not why I'm telling you about the back. I want you to give me a grade. Okay? Grade 1 being horrible, terrible. Mark, don't ever allow her to come back again. To 10, this was great presentation, great presenter, great information. We definitely want to hear more, right? So 1 to 10. You don't have to give me a 1 or a 10. Give me your honest opinion. So go ahead and fill this out, and when you're done filling it out, if we have a little bit of time, I know you guys have a class afterwards. Maybe we can do.
Yeah, I wanted to add a testimony. I work alongside Virginia and Jack. I'm Jerry, but I've been in the real estate industry, more capacity commercial real estate. But I wanted you guys to take away something really important that's happened to me recently. I joined her 2 years ago, switching careers over to this side. Recently, my brother had a triple bypass last week. He didn't have a trust. I've been talking to him about getting it. He's now released from the hospital. He made it, everything was fine. However, he said, now that we've thought about all of this, Jerry, we need to sell our house. And so, because he can't go back to work for at least 8 months. So he didn't have any type of income protection. He didn't have any type of legacy planning. He didn't have any type of property planning. But his home is now worth around 1.5 in California. And he said, I need a realtor. We need to sell our property. We're gonna downsize. We're gonna buy another property. We're also gonna be probably moving out of state. I'm gonna need an agent out there. My daughter's gonna be buying her own property. I'm gonna need an agent for her. That's 3 real estate opportunities that I have to find realtors for. Because I've stepped out of the real estate sales side for a while now. I've been referring agent for many years. But this is why her beginning of this segue, and I'm glad you started it with estate planning, because I know many of you may have thought this was like, a class that was gonna be more financially driven, how to make more money, which she'll get into. But it's just so vital to understand if we can capitalize on this information with our clients, they will come to us for these sources. And it's an unfortunate situation my brother's in, however, he's coming to me to say, link me to the appropriate people that can help me build my legacy from this point. And he's 65, and he said, my life's still gonna go on, but I need an agent, 3 agents, to help me spread this money out and do this right. So,
Thank you for sharing.
I'm glad that you started. I wasn't sure how you were gonna start your class today, but I'm glad you started it on
Thank you.
this.
And I think we all have a story of a client or even family, right? Like,
I have a quick question, and it might be more like a one-on-one thing, but I know that you, basically what you are is, an educator, right? Financial consultant, that's what I'm assuming, that's your title. So when you're doing these trusts, or you're doing like these other avenues like tax advisory, do you have a team that you kind of refer to? Because you're the main person, you kind of like we are the main person, then we like, oh, you need a contractor, who's the person, you need a plumber, who's this person. Is that who you are?
Yes,
Okay.
so when it comes to referring, I don't do anything without you with your client. So obviously, if you have connections, like if you have a CPA and they need a CPA, then I want you to be that connector, makes sense? Because you're also creating an opportunity for the professionals around you. I'm sure the CPA you're working with, you want them to give you a referral, and if you have a referral, you wouldn't want me to give it to somebody else, you would want that referral to go to you. So anytime I work with your client, you're always going to be there in the process to be able to understand what we're doing with them. You're never gonna be in the unknown. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, would you be doing the trust, let's say I have a trust I need to revise, would you do that, or do you refer me to someone?
Good question. There are certain things that are out of our reach, depending on how you want to structure your trust. But yes, to answer your question in a simple format, yes, I would be the one that's handling it. If you have a complicated trust where you've got businesses and you've got ownership splits and you've got dividends and inheritance and all these other things, then we refer you out to a different attorney, and obviously it'll be more than just $1,000. But if you have a regular trust and you're just, regular employee or self-employed, even if you've got a corporation, you've got something of a business that's yours, we can still take care of that within the same. Sounds good. Did you guys fill out your cards? Yep. You did?
I'm sorry, I don't know if you answered this. We've got clients or parents, family members that are in different states. We're okay there?
Very good question. I did not answer that question, and the answer is yes. Our program can help in all 50 states. That's important because the language in every state is very different, and if you've got assets spread out in multiple states, the languages need to comply with all those states. So our program does comply with that. Our attorneys do have that and taken care of. So if you do have clients all over the states, whether they're in different states or they've got their assets in multiple states, we can take care of that.
Can I ask you something? Are you an attorney? Are you a CPA? Are you just a salesperson?
I'm a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. We work with CPAs. We work with attorneys. I'm not an attorney. However, I've been a paralegal before I was a realtor. I know, right? I told you I started. And I worked for an attorney that did estate planning, so I was a paralegal. That's why I have an extended background in both real estate and estate planning. But no, I'm not an attorney. We work with attorneys who put together these documents. God knows I wouldn't be able to do it. But
Great.
thank you so much.
Really, really good. Thank you so much. Really
Appreciate it. Thank you for giving us the platform and the opportunity. Please don't forget to turn in your cards, your survey card, so we can get to know you. And if you want my information, I've got the workshop list here. I want to educate 30 million by 2030. You can have that. Get in touch with me anytime. I can give you, you can purchase the booklets. I don't have too many with me today, but they're $5 each. You can purchase them, or the next time I come in, I can bring more or purchase them.
Thank you all. Remember, no matter how you slice it, greatness is a choice. Let's go out there and be great.
Grade anywhere in the back. Did you guys grade me? I hope you graded me.